But he calls the court system unjust for not punishing some of the men who beat him in a disturbing scene captured on video.
Last October, local prosecutors dropped the charges and decided not to bring 4 former corrections officers to trial in the beating of inmate Otis Miller at the state prison in Lake County. Tonight, WESH 2 News investigative reporter Greg Fox takes us behind bars to reveal the story that rocked the prison system and its continued fallout today.
This is why we're fear of our life. This is why we're fear of our life.
This cell phone video shows corrections officers beating and kicking an inmate at the state prison in Lake County.
They just kept on beating and beating and beating and beating and beating. And you see somebody keep punching me, like punching.
Otis Miller was that inmate in July 2019.
They say he's resisting, but he's not resisting at all. They're going to kill him.
Did you think you were going to survive that?
No, sir. I thought I was going to die that day. Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
As y'all can see, they're beating him up.
Miller says he initially ran from officers when they caught him with cigarettes, but he says the beating intensified from more than half a dozen officers after he was pepper sprayed, put in a chokehold, and restrained. Afterward, Miller was put in a wheelchair and eventually sent to a hospital for 3 days of treatment for broken ribs, cuts, and bruises, though no one admitted to using excessive force to restrain Miller.
The inmate has 3 lumps in his face. Somebody punched him 3 times in the face at a minimum.
Sir, I didn't see anybody punch him in the face.
I know, as written in my report, I administered distractionary strikes trying to get the inmate's arms from underneath his body.
Captain Milton Gass and officers Joshua Petersilge, Hunter Lingo, and Ian Gretka were all fired and charged with felonies in connection with the beating. But the 4 former corrections officers are not going to be tried. Prosecutors say it would not be possible to explain to a jury exactly which man inflicted what harm on Otis Miller. The state attorney concluded the case could not be proven, given the lack of evidence and conflicts in the admissible evidence.
There were a lot of problems with this case.
On that point, WESH 2 legal expert Richard Hornsby agrees with the prosecutor. But he believes the state had an obligation to bring the case to trial and let a jury decide.
It's indisputable that he was brutally beaten by somebody. And the question is, if you're not going to try these cases, it sends a message to the correctional unit that they can continue to cover things up.
It's just unjust. It happens all the time. They got away with what they did.
Miller believes the decision not to prosecute the criminal case makes no sense, given that he sued the Florida Department of Corrections and, according to federal court records, the 2 sides settled the case. Miller says they paid him $125,000. He's hoping to use this beating case and the civil court settlement to try and win early release on a cocaine trafficking conviction. And why talk about any of this to us? Because he says he has family and friends, like most of his fellow inmates, that care about their safety behind bars.
I just want to speak up for the people that went through the same thing that I went through.
Why is that important?
Because family members need to know to check on their family members that's incarcerated.
In Lake County, Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.
WESH 2 News reached out to the attorneys for the former corrections officers to request interviews or comments. We did not hear back. The Florida Department of Corrections tells WESH 2 investigates none of the officers fought their terminations and have not reapplied for jobs with the department since the charges were dropped.